Good afternoon and welcome to PBTV. I'm Stu and we are live on YouTube and Facebook. This was a request off Instagram over the last couple of days, so we thought we'd bring it out and see what people's thoughts, what capabilities it has, what features it has, and we'll have a little talk about the recoil that this thing has as well. So this is the BR-47 from BOLT. So BOLT's been around for a long time. They do all sorts of different platforms, SMGs, ARs, little PDWs, crossovers, and this is what some people refer to as a hybrid. So it's a M4 AK crossover. So as you can see, most of the top receiver, rail, stock and everything like that is M4 based. The lower receiver, similar to an M4 and a slight change here at the front, allowing it to take AK mags. So we'll go through what bits and bats it has. We'll have a little chat about the internals as well. But first thing we'll do is, obviously, on the front, 40mm counterclockwise thread. You're probably not going to need an attachment because it already comes with one. It has the bit on front. There's no flash hider on front. It just comes as it is. But if you want to swap it out, you will have to put a barrel extender on it if you're wanting to change it, because the rail is quite thin. So if you are wanting to put a different device on it, you'll need to extend the barrel so that you can put the device outside of the rail, because this KeyMod style rail is very narrow. Has its pros and cons. It means it's lighter, it's easier to grip, but it does mean that you can't really fit that many devices on the front. So coming to the rail, it is a KeyMod style system. So the top is 20mm Riz, but you have KeyMod all around in every different, rather than it just being on the right, left and bottom, you do have the sort of 2 and 4 o'clock position. How long is it? Good question. So these things, in its current setup, it's about 81 centimeters. The stock is a sliding 6 position one. So if we do slide the stock all the way out to here, it's almost about 90 centimeters. So it is a big beast, but with the 6 position stock, it's got plenty of adjustment, making it comfortable for pretty much anyone. So you do have KeyMod at the 45-degree angles as well, making it easy to have your sort of canted torch mounts, different grips and everything like that. You can just mount things exactly where you need them. And again, that is one of the pros of this style of KeyMod rail. It being very thin, very light, not covered in bits of Riz and as much metal as possible. You can just put accessories exactly where you need them. On this side, there is a sort of a 2-inch bit of Riz rail, so you can swap that to anywhere you want. So you can either fit KeyMod parts directly to it, or if you don't have any KeyMod parts, it does come with this little bit of Riz. You can flip that around, put it exactly where you want, have a torch at an angle, torch on the side. It does come with the hand stop and another rail cover on this side. All these are adjustable into any position you want. So this rail cover that's here, there's another one that matches it on this side. The hand stop, this type of grip's called, and then there's another rail block here as well. On the top, we do have sort of a standard AR style sight system. So we have pin at the front and aperture at the back. The pin is adjustable for elevation and the rear is for windage. We also have the roller sort of flip bit inside that has night and day. So it's just 2 different size apertures. Pick which one you prefer. So the day one is a narrow one, the night one is wider. Not really an airsofty thing, it just comes from the real steel side of things. So coming on to the receiver, the big sort of chunk that is different compared to a lot of other things. So as you can see, there is the big taper on the lower receiver, and that allows you to put standard AEG style AK mags in it. It does come with a 600 round high cap, so if you are just getting into the sport, this thing will last you absolutely all day, and it's very easy to fill. So you've got a door on the top. Just flip that open and you pour BBs in with a bottle, a bag, anything that you want. You just pour them in, and then there's a wheel on the bottom. You just wind that little wheel, and what it does, it takes BBs from the chamber, primes them up the tube, and into the feed bit up here. Very similar to an AK, you do have to roll the mags in. It does take a little bit of getting used to where the slots are in there, but once you've got it dialed, it is totally fine. There are 2 ways to take the mag out. So you do have the standard M4 style, but in here, just it's slightly hidden, but there is the standard AK style as well, meaning it does have sort of semi-ambidextrous controls. There isn't a mag release on both sides, but with it being at the bottom, it's very easily accessible by both hands. Fire selector is only on the left, so you have safe, semi, and full auto. It is a standard gearbox in this, has standard trigger contacts. There's no MOSFET or anything like that. It is it's a very, very upgraded and reinforced gearbox, but gears, wiring, and everything like that is of a standard format. There's no electronics in there. Pulling the charging handle back, we do find a rotary style hop, and it is directional, so you can see which way it applies hop and which way it takes it off. Coming to the back, we do have the 6 positional stock. With this, I will say you're probably stuck with the style of stock that is on this, purely because inside this machine there is a massive weight that moves around in the stock. It's what gives the recoil, it's what gives that experience, what gives that immersion. Obviously, that means there is no battery space in the stock tube. Sorry, so you're going to have to use battery space in the actual stock itself, meaning that things like a CTR, low profile axe style stops aren't going to fit. You're going to need something that's crane style, something you can put battery in either side, and you'll have plenty of space. Coming to batteries, so yes, we recommend 7.4s on this mainly because of space. You're going to struggle to fit anything else apart from a 7.4, sort of 12 to 1400 in this. Battery space is semi-limited, and you're going to need a few of them. Obviously, these things are built for immersion, recoil, a little bit of realism. You haven't got the bolt stop or anything like that, but it's giving you that little bit extra. Having that little bit extra in there takes a bit more power to run, so your batteries are going to run out a little bit quicker. They're drawing a bit more power because they've got this big weight to move around. It's basically just like having more passengers in your car. You're going to run out of fuel quicker. So it's a very, very similar thing with this. So make sure if you do have one of these, you're going to need 2 or 3 batteries to get yourself through a game day. So speaking of internally in this, so it is a version 2 gearbox, even though it is using this style of mag. It is an AR sort of M4 in essence. So any upgrades that you know about M4s, they can fit to this. With that being said, it is a reinforced gearbox. It does have the newer versions of the Bolt are much better than the sort of fabled old versions that used to, there's a lot of stories of Bolts used to rattle themselves apart back in the day, maybe 10, 15 years ago when I first got my hands on one of them. But these new ones have been made a lot better. The reinforced gearboxes, the gears themselves are better, the ratios are better. There is just a lot more better internally to keep these things going for longer. That being said, there is obviously a lot more weight going on. They are going to be abused a little bit more than a standard AEG, purely because of the amount of weight that is getting thrown around in these. So what we always recommend, because of the recoil and everything like that, it's probably one of the heaviest recoiling platforms that you can get at the moment, is just keep an eye on some of the nuts, bolts and pins, etc. Especially your castle nut at the back, bits and bats. Just once you finish the game, it's similar with a gas blowback rifle. Once you finish the gas blowback, you're going to clean it, you're going to sort it, you're going to put it away properly. Same with this, just give a double check to some of the screws, bolts, nuts and everything like that. Make sure they're remaining tight. The amount of recoil this thing kicks off is incredible. You're going to have an absolute ton of fun with it. It might be a little bit detrimental to your accuracy, but it adds to the game and it is a lot of fun. But I still would stick to a 7.4 with a sort of high C rating, just so it's got that discharge rate and it runs this thing really, really good. So for people that are just joining us, I will quickly go through a few others. If you have any questions about Bolt in general or the BR-47, please ask them down below and we'll flash them up on screen and we'll make sure we get some answers out there to you. So it does have a 40mm counterclockwise thread on the front, but it is about here on the barrel. So if you are wanting to swap out and put something else on there, you are going to need a barrel extension because the rail itself is very, very thin. It does come with iron sights that are fitted, so you have a pin at the front, aperture at the back, and then the rail is KeyMod. You have KeyMod on the right, left, bottom, and you do also have it at the 45 degrees. It comes with one piece of RIS 20mm rail on the left-hand side, so you can move that around and put the accessories exactly where you want, and it does include the grip at the bottom. Adam on YouTube, does it take standard V2 hop or V3? So it does confuse some people with it having the AK mags, but this is internally and barrel and parts and everything like that, it is a V2 gearbox. So a V2 hop will fit standard AEG barrels and everything like that. The only bit that is different is actually this part of the gearbox here. This part of the receiver here has been made differently just so that it accepts these style of mags. Apart from that, it's a version 2 gearbox, it's a version 2 hop unit, and all the parts and accessories that come for a version 2 gearbox, MOSFETs, everything like that, will fit in this as normal. Speaking of the hop, if I roll this back, you can see it just there. There is a little bit of text that says hop and an arrow down. So rolling the rotary hop downwards on there applies the hop, giving you a bit more backspin. There is, so I was on about the rail. It does come with all the parts that are attached to it, and then coming back to the receiver, I've spoken about the angled, and it does come with the 600 round AK style mag. Fire select is on the left, so it is a little bit right-handed biased, and you have safe, semi, and full auto. The actual bolt hold open on the left side doesn't do anything to adjust your hop. You do have to hold the charging handle back just so you can adjust it slightly. I do always like to mention whether or not you can do this in game. It is very much at the back. You probably won't, if you've got gloves on, it's going to be very, very difficult to adjust your hop. I'd probably do this pre-game or out of game because it's not going to be too intuitive to do it in game. Rear sight is aperture. It does have the folding L sort of shape in there, so it does have the wide and narrow aperture, and then coming down to the standard plastic fiber polymer grip, and a very, very large 6-position stock. As I was saying earlier, this thing goes from anywhere to about 80 to 90 centimeters in length with the positional stock, but the stock that is on this you are sort of semi-stuck with. You do need a crane style stock. Anything like a CTR narrow stocks aren't going to work because there is no space in the stock tube. That is full of the recoil system, the weights, the springs, and everything like that. So the stock is where you are going to house your battery. The bigger the stock you can get, the better, because this thing does go through batteries purely because of the weight and the amount of effort that it's having to put through to give you that immersion and recoil, etc. It is a bit of a weighty beast as well. This thing comes in at about 3.2 kilos, so you're going to know about it when you're running around with this. I couldn't find out just before going live what in a barrel it is in it. I need to find out whether or not it's a type ball or not. I'm not quite sure yet. But it is coming out about 320 FPS as well, so it's at that perfect sweet spot for outdoors and CQB. And with the length of barrel that's in this, you're going to have some really, really good accuracy and groupings at range. But, so that's been the BR-47 from Bolt Airsoft. These things are really, really cool if you're looking for a recoil system that hits harder than anything else out there at the moment. This is probably where it's at. With it being the hybrid as well, it will turn heads if it's what you like the look of. It is very, very cool. And it is a version 2 gearbox as well, so it's not too out there that you can't mess around with it later. So it gives you a load of really, really good options. So that's everything for today. If you've enjoyed that, thank you very much. If there's anything you want us to look at, again, this was a recommendation or a request from Instagram. If you want us to review anything, drop us a message on Instagram. We'll throw it to the top of the list, and we'll get on it as soon as possible. But if that's everything, I will be back again at 4 p.m. tomorrow, going into the weekend. Hope you can get out there and have a game. We have our proving grounds this weekend, so if you are coming, join in, say hello, but there are still tickets left, so if you want to jump on, that's the place to do it. But I'll see you in a bit.